The Glenpool Police Department has a new chief and deputy chief. They want to focus on community relations with their new roles.
We're currently 3 positions short. We were 6 up until recently. I'd like to start some outreach programs where we do guest speakers and sponsor things where people come in on an open forum, get more comfortable with us, the officers, the department.
What's that?
We've done as best as we can with the manpower that we have at this time.
Police search warrant!
We have a very good relationship, I think, with the majority of the citizens here in town.
Police search warrant! Policía orden de
Yesterday, this video was making the rounds on Twitter. This is where it first popped up, a post by Dylan Griffith. It says Tulsa, Oklahoma police raid the wrong house and scare the crap out of a mother and 3 kids. But then it's clarified later on that this is not actually Tulsa police. This is Glenpool, Oklahoma police. Big distinction. And the crazy thing is I can't find anything else about it. So if you know these people, have them reach out. When you see these types of videos, you probably ask yourself, can they do that? I mean, they don't have a warrant. Isn't that a 4th Amendment violation if they enter your house, they don't have a warrant because their warrant is for some other address? I'm going to answer that question for you. But first, this was an interview of the chief deputy maybe a year ago.
Chief Martin, our previous administration, had started down that path a couple of years ago when we started moving to a more professional department. We want to keep that standard using policy and procedure.
Graves says training will be a priority for the smaller department's officers.
I would say that our training has probably succeeded a lot at some of the bigger agencies, mainly because we're able to focus on certain things at certain times. We've done as best as we can with the manpower that we have at this time.
They clearly are doing the best that they can with the limited resources that they have. And aren't they doing such a great job of community relations here? You know, the important thing is not that they apparently went to the wrong house. The important thing is the camaraderie that they showed with each other, with their hands on their shoulders. You know, they have their battle buddies. They're doing a great job on the front of officer safety. And we can always get to dealing with the community. I mean, that always comes next. Once you deal with the officer safety issues and you're able to build that camaraderie with your brothers in arms, with the thin blue line, then it all falls into place with the community. They will respect you then. So here's the full video that was posted on Twitter, obviously taken from a doorbell camera. Take a look at the footage and then I'll tell you what the law is of when you can successfully sue police officers for raiding the wrong address on a search warrant.
What's that? Police search warrant! Police search warrant! Policía orden de arresto!
In Maryland versus Garrison, the Supreme Court explained that officers executing a warrant must make a reasonable effort to ascertain and identify the place intended to be searched. In that case, the officers entered the wrong apartment because they mistakenly believed that the 3rd floor contained a single unit rather than 2. Although the officers made several attempts to identify the target apartment, none revealed that the 3rd floor had 2 apartments. Because the objective facts available to the officers at the time suggested no distinction between the dwellings, the search complied with the 4th Amendment. If the officers should have known that the 3rd floor contained 2 apartments, however, the search of the wrong dwelling would have been unconstitutional. Where police officers are put on notice of a risk that they might search the wrong house At that point, any reasonable officer would have to take a moment to ensure that he redirected the other officers to the correct house. So, absent probable cause and exigent circumstances, a warrantless search of a residence violates the Fourth Amendment unless the officers engage in reasonable efforts to avoid the error. Here, we're missing the facts. What do we need to know? Well, we need to see the search warrant. Was this indeed the wrong address, as Twitter says? Was there a mistake in the numbers of the address of the scene or a mistake in the warrant? We need to know what the facts are first before we can compare it to the standard that I just told you. So if you know who these people are, have them reach out either to me or to the Institute for Justice, because they are litigating a case right now, the Texas wrong house raid, that is the same issue. A wrong house raid followed by a lawsuit. Officers are hiding behind qualified immunity. And I'll put a link below to all the information you want to read about the IJ's case of the Texas wrong house raid that they're litigating right now. And if you're interested in this issue, which you should be, I encourage you to donate now to the Institute for Justice, because they are litigating issues just like this all over the country, nonstop. And if you care about your constitutional rights, I encourage you to donate what you can to keep their lawyers suing the government nonstop, because freedom is scary. They can just deal with it.